So the head's back on. Timing chain is back in. Here it is. And I'm all the way back to where I was, 5 weeks ago on this Honda CA95 1963 Baby Dream. Honda Bentley, they're all the same motorcycle. And of course, the head was the issue. It turned out the head was bad, and I realized it when I got this timing chain in. Well, it's all back in. I've got this timing chain in, and now we need to put the timing chain tensioner on to move forward. And so it's just this device, and it pivots, pushes against the chain. Here it pivots, pushes against the chain, and takes the slack out of the chain. So you got to start by getting this plunger in, and this is what pushes up against the pivoting device and gives it tension, and you can adjust it. So it has a plunger, it's hollow, and it has a spring in it, and it goes into a hole here in the left side of the case. So this is the adjusting screw. I've just pulled that out of the way. We've released it. Okay, and we're gonna drop this spring and plunger in. Now when you put it in, it rides in this direction, but to get it in you have to turn it in this direction, slide it in, and then twist it back. So we're going to do that right now. Just take a few moments. Okay, slide it in. Now I've got to turn it. The worst part about turning it is there's nothing to get your fingers on. There's a little oil port in there, and I can take this pick and grab it and spin it. I think that's how I got it out. Come on. You're being so difficult. There we go. There's the hole. Just spin it around. Okay, and it's 94% there. There it is. All the way down. And it's moving up and down. Okay, now in order to get this plunger out of the way of our tensioning device, we have to go ahead and screw it down. As you screw the adjusting rod screw, it's a line screw basically, as you screw it down, it compresses the tensioner device and pushes it out of the way. Okay, it's down quite a ways, should be far enough. So let's go ahead and drop this guy in. It pivots on a few things. There's a bushing in here that slides in that holds the screw and washer off the device itself and lets it pivot. Threads into a hole here in the case. Let's go ahead and get it in there, yo. You'll get in there. Yep, didn't quite get it on the chain first, I guess. There we go. Hee. Yeah, let me look in that hole, see if I'm lined up. Just off a little bit here. Pull it towards me here. Come on. And not a lot of places I could be. Where are you at? Okay, let's lift this up a little bit. There we go. Can feel it threading in there now. Okay, what is that? It's like a 14mm socket, 14mm bolt. This old ratchet and socket and everything, I've had this at least 35 years. I mean, it was one of the first tools I ever bought for myself as a young man. I think I bought it with my Sears credit card. You know, it's this old Craftsman stuff. Never had any desire for anything better because it works just fine. Okay, so we're still a little tight, so I'm checking the tension on the chain. It seems a little tight. That chain would stretch under that kind of force. Let's go ahead and run this in just a little bit further. Got a screw head in here and a nut on there. Guess I'm going to have to loosen the nut up a little bit. It's cinched down against the case. Run that in. And when you run it down, it loosens the tension on this tensioner. Okay, that seems like some pretty good slack in there. I mean, it's firm and it's moving. I get the feeling this chain might be a bit to the older side if I ride this very much. Well, I'll never ride it very much. I'm 6'2" and 210 pounds. But somebody will ride it, and if we ride it much, I get the feeling we might hear that thing start to clattering around, because it seems to have a lot of wear on it. But everything in this engine had a lot of wear on it, and we're definitely within the parameters of the chain adjustment. I don't know how tight a new one would be. I never found a repair manual for this. I found an exploded view of the engine is really all I found, in some engine specs. Yeah, I feel comfortable with that. Let me just double check this. Okay, good. That feels good. It's definitely not going to be rattling against anything. I think I said this earlier, but let's just recap. This gear can only fit on these 3 bolts in one way. They're eccentric. They're not symmetrically drilled, so the gear will only fit in one direction. There is a 0 stamped on the top of the gear. If that 0 is pointing directly up, the cam timing is at top dead center. Down here on the bottom, there is a slot for a half moon key, and if that slot is pointed up right through the center of the cylinder, then it is at top dead center. So that's how you time the engine. You install the chain. The slack really wanted on this right side. If you get it on the left side and try to tighten this up, you'll actually pull it about a tooth worth out of timing. But if you do it on the right side, you can keep everything straight, so the slack is running through this tensioner. You know, I don't know if that's worn or not. Might be a little bit. I mean, I know the engine had a lot of wear on it, but I'm looking at it and everything looks straight. I mean, I'm not unhappy with it. This is tight. So that's the cam chain tensioner.